We were at an art exhibition and we were looking at the various things that were there, and we actually saw at the top of the stairs something that we didn't even know what it was, but it turned out to be an art fresco. And I can see now the light that was coming through the window and the way this wall just came to life, and we were drawn towards it. And from that point onwards, we decided that when we had the right wall and the right part of the house, that we were going to ask ASTER MURO to do something similar for us.
We are ASTER MURO and we create contemporary abstract frescoes.
Our technique is an innovation on traditional fresco. All the colours are mixed by hand and by eye, and no piece we produce is the same. So our clients are commissioning us to do a piece of unique, bespoke art for their interior space.
The great thing about this process was that it was collaborative from beginning to end. We gave them a brief, but I think what was most important is that the briefing process was iterative. Many questions came back from the studio about what we were looking to achieve, where the piece was going to be, what context it was going to have. ASTER MURO really spend the time in depth to understand what you as a client are looking for. The second stage was the creation of a mood board. So we provided some of the imagery for the mood board. We gave a quote, a photograph of the front door, and the original piece of work that had inspired us. And then from the studio, lots of other images, sometimes paintings, sometimes photographs, were given back to us, and together this became this wonderful mood board, and became quite rich and three-dimensional and much more thorough than I had expected a simple mood board to be. A means by which the essence of the idea we were looking for came to life on a piece of paper before the work started. And the third stage was the creation of some guide frescoes that were produced by the studio, actually in the studio.
So we got the green light and we then went into the studio and produced the guide frescoes.
And these give a general idea of what you might get. It tests out the palette, it tries out different compositions, and it acts as an indication of where you might head next. Because the final fresco is always a development.
Yeah.
It always takes on a character of its own.
Yeah, it's always a journey. We don't know where it's going to end, and as you say, the final piece has its own character, it has its own presence in the room. So we feel we're on a collaborative journey with our clients, but also with the piece.
Before going to see them, we didn't really know what we were going to expect. It seemed hard to believe that pieces of complete work would be done in preparation. But when we saw them, we just loved what was there, and they helped us to refine what we were looking for. And in conversation with Charles then, we really finalised the brief based on being able to see something real and three-dimensional in front of us.
So I felt it was really important to bring elements of the garden and the outside into the room. The wall where we did the fresco was next to these beautiful French windows, and it was an opportunity to have all the outside elements coming through from the garden, through the window and into the interior space.
And onto the wall.
And onto the wall. And it's actually led to informing the interior scheme of the room, because we did the fresco before the rest of the room was decorated.
So on the day of the installation, Charles came and he set everything up, and we were desperate to see what it would be like, and we left him to his own devices. And I actually sneaked around on the outside to try and look in and see, but I couldn't really see what was going on. Well, we knew from the very beginning that we wanted colours that were strong and vibrant, because the house, although it's old, has a vibrancy to it. And then working with the studio, we decided essentially on a range of really brilliant greens that we would work other colours into. It's about vibrancy, about greenness, and it's through talking with the studio and bringing in not just the architecture of the house, but its setting and its garden that we arrived with the colour choices that we've got.
So the colour palette was inspired by the painting in the room. It was aubergine, purple, lime, a sense of spring and freshness and new growth, and we felt that it would bring some power and boldness to the composition.
So we waited, and he opened the door when he was finished and said, "Come in and take a look at it." And we walked in, and our jaws dropped. It was fantastic. The piece is named Charleston, which is a reference to the Bloomsbury Group and that period of time in which art became so much more challenging and inspiring, and was an attempt to bring art off the canvas and into the home. For that reason, we love the name. So the journey has been really fascinating. We've loved the process, and now we have a bold, powerful, unique piece of art.